This is the regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission. It is Thursday, March 21st, 2024. It is 11 o'clock, and we do have a quorum. Our first order of business will be the consent agenda. Would somebody make a motion, or does anybody have anything they want to pull off the agenda?
On the consent agenda? No, sir. I think we can go ahead and move forward if there's a motion to accept the minutes, and then we'll get to the regular agenda.
Okay.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
get a motion?
I'll move that we accept the minutes, approve the minutes.
Get a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we will now move into our regular agenda. Our first case is the historic overlay, case 224-01. The City of San Angelo requesting to extend the historical overlay to the two buildings located at 218 and 301 North Oaks in the downtown area. We will open it up to staff.
Yes, good morning. Aaron Vanoy, Director of Planning and Development Services. On this first item, city staff is going to request this morning to pull the item for a future date. We have had a brief discussion this morning with SAISD leadership, and they would like some more time to sit with the city to understand what this overlay means to them and that particular building. And so currently that's our city staff recommendation, is to request to pull the item for a later date. That would need a motion, a second, and a vote by the group, if y'all so choose that. Otherwise, city staff does have a presentation for it, as well as there are citizens here to visit about the case.
Okay. Does this need to be open for public comment before we vote?
No, I don't think it actually requires a vote if we're not ready. If there's an objection to that, we'd like to hear that, but we don't have to vote to remove something from the agenda. We'll just bring it back later.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to table this item?
We don't want to table it because
No.
we always forget to untable it.
No.
We'll just pull it.
To pull the item? Or do we want to move forward?
Is there consensus?
We take this off the agenda and bring it up at another time when staff has been able to talk to all the parties involved at a greater extent.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, that item will be set aside for another date.
All right. Thank you. And before you move on to the other items, item F has been, I made a mistake and had that item on there. It is not actually an item that we're going to hear today. We have not got the full complement of information to bring forward to you guys. So we need to remove item F.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our next case, CA 24-02, 18 West College Avenue, a request for a certificate of appropriateness to replace an exterior building wall with stucco instead of replacing the existing siding on the building at 18 West College Avenue in the historic overlay zone.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner. They are requesting to, I'm gonna go this one, that wall there in the back side of their building was severely damaged and coming off. So they are requesting to replace it with the exact stucco. Go back to this picture. Make it look like the front except for the brick. Our staff is requesting that they continue with the brick, and they are asking at a later date. So it is in the downtown overlay district, and if you see, the brick does continue right back here, so we just figured they would bring it on around. The paint samples and the brick sample, I also have a sample for you guys to pass around. So staff is recommending approval with the 3 conditions: that the colors, dimensions, and materials of all the improvements shall be consistent with the renderings that are approved today, that the applicant obtain any required permits, and that all signs require DHRC approval if there is any. With that, is there any
Is there
questions?
any questions for staff?
So you were saying the stone or the brick at a later date. Is there a time for that, time frame, or when did they want to have that done?
They did not really request to continue the brick. Staff is recommending that they do. And after talking to them, they're not able to do it yet. So they don't really have a date.
Also, does the stucco continue around the entire wing that projects from the main building, or is it just on this one side?
They just said the one side.
Okay,
Well, yeah, the other 2 sides have that same kind of siding on them.
right.
Yeah. So really, they're only wanting to do one side. Any other questions for
questions?
staff? Okay, we'll open it up. Oh, go, sorry.
So I'm slow today, so just to make sure I'm understanding this, they want 2 of the sides to remain with the siding, and then they want to replace this side with the stucco, and then later on, maybe add the brick overlay on that side?
Correct. That is correct.
Yes, this came to us as kind of a compliance issue. They were removing the siding because of the sun damage that you can see there in the item. And so we're trying to work with them and say in the future phases, if you have future phases with improvement, we would like the stone to continue around the bottom. This first step is them getting that side re-stuccoed and starting to blend in. And then if they choose to do the back side and the side that kind of faces Chadburn College, then we would ask them to continue that around.
I do have another question. Have y'all talked with them about any plans to do anything with the remaining 2 sides at a later date as well, or is this only relative to this one side?
It is just relative to the one side. I did ask if the other sides were going to, and she did say no.
Is there a reason why the brick is being requested as a requirement? The additional stone?
More to give her approval if they do decide to do it, because staff does think it would look good to continue it on. So it's kind of you have approval when you.
I know, but I'm just wondering if you could just approve the stucco as they're proposing, and not have the brick or the stone be a requirement.
You could. What staff has tried to do in the past, anything that's on a street frontage, we tried to make them all look the same. That's why it's just a recommendation of a condition by city staff, but you can go back and just say, okay, it's only the stucco, and then maybe that's down the road. That's why we said it wouldn't be a requirement today, but in future development, it would be.
Any more questions for staff? Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this project? Nope. Okay, and we'll close that and open it up to the board. Anybody have any discussion?
Well, I think it's always stronger when you can do a repetition of materials, so repeating the stucco, to me, is a good idea.
Okay, well, what about the recommendation on doing the rock? I mean, because actually, the north side and the east side, there's no rock on it. It's just on the front facade.
Right.
So,
Well, we just approved stucco. We're just
Yes.
approving stucco.
yes.
Then that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm good
I'm
with
not
that.
saying I'm opposed to this either way, but just to me, in terms of consistency and sort of maintaining the historical facade, to me, the siding and stucco combination is not disruptive, that's too strong a word, but is a greater gap there than the rock. Like, to me, I would rather see, instead of the rock continued, the stucco continued first. And I'm not saying that's a fatal issue for me, it's just as an observation, that to me is a much bigger jump in historical architectural trends than, say, the rock added to the stucco. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also understand that's not what's
Yeah, that's
at
not
the
what
issue here
applicant
today,
wanted,
but
yes. Someone would like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve that they do this, the stucco, but not requiring the rock at this time at all.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll move on to our next case, 0024-04, 301 West 3rd Street, a request for a downtown district design for approval of the construction of a 2,405 square foot office warehouse, prefabricated metal building in the Central Business District Zone, Downtown District Overlay Zone.
I think we're out of sequence.
Oh, did I skip one? I knew I should have brought my glasses. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. We'll back up. It's DO 24-02, 501 North Bryant Boulevard. A request for approval of a downtown district design for the exterior remodel of an existing building in the addition of a service area building in the general commercial, heavy commercial downtown overlay zone at Cartown Hyundai. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. As you indicated, this is a request for the, essentially the facelift, and it is a significant facelift of the Hyundai car used in new auto facility. It's on 5.56 acres. It is on North Bryant, 501 North Bryant, and that, as you're aware, is one of our major streets as you're coming into the town. It is zoned general commercial, heavy commercial, which is kind of unusual since most of the things that we're talking about are CBD, but that is one of the areas that still remains. But it is in the overlay district, and therefore it did come to you for consideration. I included the example on the side of where the proposed bike path and the proposed trail along the river is intended to go, simply because it goes right next to or on or adjacent to this piece of property. And so it's not only an entrance into the town, but it's also a center for recreation, and a lot of people come into the area and see it. And so everything that we look at on this building is really with that kind of, it's going to be seen and admired by the community. This is the proposal on the left. It is a significant change and a significant design change. The area that the stucco area and the top area do follow the criteria that are in our downtown district. They're more earth tones. They are more of the neutral tone, but are also more of the West Texas kind of approach to design. You will notice that there is a lot of glass on this building, but that glass is clear as we require. It does not have the shading and the blockage in it. The building on the right is the existing building, so the same general form is being maintained. They're adding on to it. They are removing, of course, the blue Hyundai sign that they have now, and we don't have the signs at this time for approval. This is the schematic of the layout. It gives you all four sides, so if you're familiar with that building, you can see where the changes are occurring. And this is the back side, which will be a significant improvement in both the material and the color. The color will be uniform all the way around on the building. and the one on the right is the existing building. This is the layout on the acreage. It is not changing the placement in any way, shape, or form. It is staying exactly where it is. So it will be set back from both North Bryant and the street to the north, but it is very visible. In looking at the analysis, we compared it to the requirements for this overlay district, so the colors, dimensions, and materials are consistent with what will be approved today. If you agree to it, we're going to recommend that that be a condition. Again, the window glass will be clear and not painted. We're recommending that also as a condition, that they receive all necessary permits. We always add that, and that includes the signs. And we are asking that they make sure that lighting does not spill outside of the boundaries of that lot. And as you can see, we are recommending approval, and I'm sorry, it's DD 2402, and I thought I had changed that, but with all four of those conditions listed, or all four of those conditions listed. And are there any questions?
Are they got that metal building back there, are they gonna plaster that too?
I think they're taking that down, and the general manager is here today, and I'll let him address it. They are taking that down and building anew that piece.
So they're gonna take that metal building down and build a new structure?
Or partially, yes, or at least a new siding on it, yes,
Oh, okay.
is my understanding in looking at the plans.
All right. Anybody have any questions for
Are
staff?
there specific lighting that we're trying to approve or look at, or what is that? What's the difference in what's there now and what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's generally the same lighting that is existing now. It's the poles in the parking area. It is the lights that are on the building that are aimed at the ground just to give it that lighting around the building.
So just not to change it during construction?
It's not really,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the ordinance says you just can't have light spillage out of it, so I think that's why they put it in.
Okay.
You mentioned the walking trail. Can you point to where that is? Do you happen to have a pointer?
It's not built yet, and but the original plan had it behind the building and along the river down there. And the hope is that if that trail is put in and it's expanded, that side will be cleaned up so that there is access out.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Is there a specification for what constitutes tinted glass? I say that because with the new 2021 Energy Code, which the city adopted to meet solar heat gain coefficient standards, there has to be some tint involved in order to meet those standards. So are we talking like a mirrored glass, like that's what's
Mirrored
supposed?
glass,
Okay,
reflective glass, yes.
So the tinting that's required to meet Energy Code is
Lighter
allowable.
and not a really dark tint is not
Okay,
approved.
okay. Do we need any kind of clarification on that, or does, I mean, because they're getting pretty dark now in order to meet the Energy Code, and so.
That's correct, and that's usually the standpoint from the board has been no reflectivity.
Okay.
So as you go by and it's mirrored glass and you're just seeing your vehicle or as you walk by. As far as being able to see through it, we certainly want them to meet the energy code. And I think that is some aspect that y'all would allow when we're doing the plan review side, not just this exterior review, some flexibility so that they meet the energy code.
Okay. Very good.
Are
Okay,
there any
any
other
other
questions?
questions? Okay, thank you. We will now open it up to public comment. Is there someone here who would like to speak on this project?
How are y'all today?
Good. Please state
Just to
your name.
clarify, my name's Justin Warren, I'm the general manager for Cartown Hyundai. The back side of it, what y'all were asking as far as the metal, is that gonna be removed? It won't be removed, it's gonna be replaced. So the structure will still be the same, we're gonna add on to the back, and I've got the schematics for it, just for adding in another piece of equipment. But all of it's gonna be transparent through the whole thing as far as the stucco all the way around. The glass tinting, we aren't tinting it, period. It has to be transparent per Hyundai's guidelines. So literally, it's like I was telling Sherry yesterday, you'll be able to see in our showroom floor from the loop. So everything will be up to spec as far as the energy code glass, but it will not have any sort of tint on it. And like I said, the metal part will be resurfaced. It's not being tore down and adjusted, so.
What is the brown material at the top? What is that?
I would love to tell you what it is. I don't know exactly what it is as far as the material. It's like a plastic facade, so it holds up to weather. It's definitely a very clean look, and that's what I like because it fits right into what we have downtown. So it's definitely going to be a very nice facelift for people when they come into San Angelo, because that is a very busy street. And of course, you can see our facility now. It's been a little ran down for a while, so I think it'll be really nice.
Yeah, I think it fits in with the neighborhood a lot better than the blue.
And the lights, to kind of clarify that, I mean, right now, the exterior lights we have, some of the poles and stuff may move within the lot, but they're going to be high output LED efficient lights. So they're going to be brighter, which is good for us because we do have a few break-ins and stuff in that area. So it's going to put more light on our facility. The lights will not really change. It may change a little bit on location, but as far as that goes, it should stay the same. Now the sign where you see it at now, that it's on the corner there, they were saying we don't have approvals for that yet. Is that what I'm hearing?
That would be the sign ordinance.
Is this, well, there's a couple of things to ask. One, the sign that's being represented here, that's going to be the look of the sign that you're coming in with?
It'll match exactly like this here. So it'll have that brown and then the dark brown on top. So it'll mirror the store. It will not
So the
be that.
look is what we would ask for you guys to add into this approval, so that he doesn't have to come back and do an amendment to the approval. The actual sign permit, he would get through when he gets his building permit and stuff for that for construction.
Okay, so
But yeah,
you're
if this
using
is
the
the
same frame and everything on the
Yes, sir.
sign?
So basically, I mean, because Hyundai had it two different ways. They had it, either we were leave it where we're at, or they put it by our entryway. But I told them we don't need to do that because it's already bad enough getting out on that street, turning right with traffic and not being able to see. So there may be an additional signage that they want to do, which is probably about 3 foot tall, 4 foot tall at our entryway that they have, but that'd be the only difference in signage that would be, I guess, need to get approval for that part. But it's basically face covering that one right there. I don't know if they're tearing it down, but it'll be the same structure going into it.
Okay.
So I would say we would just add that facade sign into the approval. I think
Okay.
that makes sense. If they come forward with a monument sign of some kind, and if it's less than 50 square feet, the actual sign part, not the construction side of it, then we can do that administratively for them and do that pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you had an entry, some kind of cool, bigger entry, we'd want to see it, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment? Nope. Okay, we'll close that and open it up to board. Somebody like to make a motion?
I would make a motion to accept it with the caveat of having the sign remain in the same materials that are shown.
Okay, and adding, if they want to add another,
Well, that wouldn't have to be part of the motion since that's not here in display today.
Okay.
So the monument sign, we would handle separate.
okay, if it's less.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, now we'll get back on track. Straight, yeah, case DO 24-04, 301 West 3rd Street, a request for a downtown district design for approval of the construction of a 2,405 square foot office warehouse prefabricated metal building in the Central Business District Zone Downtown District Overlay Zone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can see, the two lots that are outlined on the picture are the two lots that are involved in this request. The applicant is really doing a spec building with an office in the front and a warehouse or storage in the second part or the rear of the building. It's a smaller building, but it fits in that neighborhood in particular. If you remember, just a block down, we had the RO building last month. And so that general type of use, an office, a warehouse, a storage area, this is a good placement for it, and it's right across from the feed facility, and so it balances off. The material is intended to be this a metal, more of a Mueller type of building that the applicant is proposing. It will be on the corner here on this lot. And so all four corners will then have some kind of facility or intent for development. This is the layout. As you can see, that office building is reduced in size, and so the gable on that building is shorter than the gable on the storage in the back, so it has a really nice relief to the design. The colors are intended to be a lighter gray for the main building, and then the trim will be a darker gray. As I had indicated before, this is the feed facility. There's a retail across the way with the RO building down at the corner there. So it's in an area that is going through some revitalization and some changes that are occurring. In looking at the analysis, what the district indicates is that light to medium colors with low reflectivity rather than brighter colors should be used on the building, and then the brighter colors saved for the trim, and in this case that's exactly what the applicant is proposing. Generally, materials such as stone or brick or precast concrete or cast stone are generally what we encourage, but in this area that's more of an industrial transition area, we believe that the prefab metal building fits into what's existing in the area, particularly with the feed facility that's across the way. Again, we're saying that the glass needs to be energy efficient, low E glass for the windows. And so staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions of approval: that the colors, dimensions, and materials of the building are as have been shown, or staff has talked with the applicant about looking at doing kind of a wainscoting on just the office front, similar to what they did on the RO building to kind of fit in with the neighborhood, and it might add a little more distinctiveness to that office area. Second condition is to make sure that all lighting does not spill over into adjacent properties, and the third is to obtain all necessary permits. And with that, are there any questions you might have?
I have a question. So this is in the Central Business District?
It is.
Okay, if this thing is approved, are we setting a precedence where, I agree this is more in an industrial area of the city, but if this thing is approved, can somebody like downtown San Angelo build a metal building there? That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I mean, if we approve one, what are we gonna do with somebody else that says, well, look, that you did this one?
Let's talk about the districts. So you mentioned central business district. That's a zoning and a land use, not a
Okay.
design district.
Okay.
This is in the downtown design district, where most of our actual downtown, what we would consider traditional downtown, Concho, Chadburn, those areas, that's under our historical downtown design district.
Okay, so this
And
is not in the
This is not in the
okay.
historical
Okay.
portion that's historically overlaid, but it does have some design criteria for the downtown corridor. Similar like Hyundai was on the river corridor, we want a certain design there. This is just kind of an entry area to downtown, and does it blend with that area?
Okay, clarify that. I got a question. The fence that they're proposing to put around it, what's it made out of?
The applicant is here, and I did
Okay.
not see that represented in what was submitted, so I would ask him
Okay.
what he has in mind, but we have some.
Could you show that
specific-
picture, Sherry?
Pardon?
Would you mind showing that picture of the front?
And then could we go back to the map after we see
Yeah.
that, just the location with the districts overlaid on it?
Pretty much everything around it is commercial, industrial.
Right, and that's
yeah.
what we were looking at when we were reviewing this piece of property, is what is in the area, what has been the general use in that area. It's less retail, more of an industrial use.
Wainscoting recommendation?
The wainscoting recommendation, it's just, since it's a prefab building, you can get the metal with a wainscoting on there. And the suggestion had been, because of the RO building that's at the other end of the block is going to do that just on their front. And I believe that was also a suggestion that you had. This would be something very similar if we were to require that, so that it kind of balanced the area.
So is the wainscoting, if we pass, would the wainscoting be required, or is the wainscoting just a suggestion?
We can make a requirement as,
Okay.
yeah, we
Right.
can make that as part of the motion, that
Okay.
we require them to put that on it.
Okay. But staff recommendation, what is,
Staff is recommending the wainscoting, yes.
okay.
And I did visit, as I said, I did visit with the applicant about that, so I think he knows that that was going to be our recommendation.
And the colors that were presented aren't specific, just generalizations of light gray. So is staff going to follow up with that to make sure that it's not purple gray or or blue gray or pink
Yeah.
gray looking or?
Yes, we will do that as part of the review on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray in that gray.
There are a lot of
Maybe the
things.
applicant has that information.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
I was saying, maybe the applicant has that information.
Right.
What colors specifically? Because we've asked that of other applicants in the past, not just a generalization, because there is a lot of differences in gray, there's a lot of differences in white that we've made other applicants bring forth, so.
Well, and if this is an area in transition where we're beginning to see multiple projects, it would be nice from the get-go to make sure we're having some continuity in the grays or grays or
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Good point.
It strikes me that these trees on the corner are very important from a design standpoint. Is that outside of our purview?
No, landscaping is within your purview, and you can approve it as the plan presents. And then we would just ask for a landscape list of what those plants are going to be, so that we make sure that they're not in the 30-foot site triangle, those types of planting things. But yes, some landscaping in this area would be very beneficial to that block of that street.
I think that difference in front elevation heights is important as a transition
Yes.
piece in this neighborhood. There's still homes along here. So something that speaks to both warehouse and residential, I think, is important. And the trees are part of that.
Any more questions for staff? Nope, okay, thank you. We will now open it for public comment. Would someone here like to speak on this project? Please
Hello
state
guys,
your
Brian
name.
Benson with Clearview Custom Homes. I'll be own the land and be the builder here. I did bring the two color swatches for what we do have as the building. Like I said, the light gray will be the main building with the dark gray will be the trim. So these will be the two colors.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
As far as the fencing goes, I do have it right now bid out as a chain link. I mean, just looking in the area, Palmer's has a chain link around theirs. The one right north of theirs has a chain link fence around there. So just thought that it was suitable for the area on the other buildings. You know, if I need to make it a black chain link fence, I guess it has no purpose on that, but to dress it up a little bit. But do have it right now as a chain link simply because
Just open chain link, so it won't have any of the little vinyl slits or anything in it?
I mean, again, I just have it bid out as chain link. I can
Yeah.
put those in there. I just noticed in the area there were several chain link fences.
What's going to
so-
be stored back there? What are we going to be seeing?
Simply speculative building right here. You know, as we go around and I do multiple different things, these buildings, to me, there's a large need of them in the city.
Okay, so this
They-
isn't for a certain, so you're just building it to lease it out or?
Speculative, yeah,
Okay.
it's typically spec, just like our office buildings that we built on Jackson. You know, we're just building them and we'll rent them out, then either keep them or sell them on cap rates. But yeah, this is just, these lots came available to me a couple years ago, purchased them, and then just now getting around to the project, but have this just as a speculative property. Like I said, think it's a good location for any kind of business that needs a little storeroom and office front.
And I guess there's no residential backing up to this, so by city code, you don't have to have,
There is, if you go back to those.
check with Sharon.
I mean,
think
if it
there
backs
is
up
a-
to residential, you have to have it.
So there is, as you'll notice,
Shielded.
there is a wood fence that kind of lines the property in two areas. One of them's a little dilapidated on that one side, but the back side does have a wooden fence there currently.
Is there an entry to the back, or is it only? Right there?
So, and I don't know, I need to go back and look and see if that's an alleyway. I know there's an alleyway back there, and looking at the aerial view too, there is an alleyway that goes between the blue building maybe? Because that'd be Martin Luther King, and this is, so that blue building, and then the house would be right there. That does share a common fence with the property right there to the west.
The fence that I see right there, that wooden fence, is that the homeowner's fence, or is that?
We share, it looks like.
You share the
on
fence?
From the aerial, it looks like we do share a common fence with them, yes.
So wouldn't by code, they would have to have that?
They'd have to have an
6
opaque
foot
fence. 6
opaque
foot
fence there.
Yes. If
So
the
that
wood
would
fence
either have to be
stays-
torn down and rebuilt, or?
If
Yeah,
that's a
if it's
not-
6-foot
that-
fence, it'd be able to stay though, wouldn't it?
It would be able to stay. If it was torn down for some reason, they would have to replace it with
Well,
something
no, but
appropriate.
the shape that it's in, I guess it doesn't matter. It's there.
Do we have any photos of that, Sherry? Any of the photos that you had?
I don't think I have.
Looks like half
in
of it is
there.
falling
Oh, I
down.
see it there on the right side.
Yeah, on that far side, it would,
Yeah.
I think that's the alleyway. This is
Oh,
where
so there's
the
okay.
fence that we're talking about becoming, where the light brown pickets are like right there in the
Okay.
middle.
Right.
But that would be aesthetically within your purview of saying you needed a certain type of fence or to make a fence repair to be adequate for what you want it to look like. Again, usually with, like you said, with the zoning ordinance, the separation between residential and commercial, even if it's land use shows commercial, but there's a residence there, they have to do the privacy fence. The one that looks like, and you can see the lighter color there where they've maybe replaced 2 panels. That fence would need to remain, and then along the alleyway, they may need to make an opaque fence. It could be chain link, but it could be, whether it's the slats or screening of some kind, could be done that way as well.
So could we make it a condition where we want the whole thing opaque? I
You
mean,
could,
that's-
yes.
I mean, that's
That's the challenge here in this part of downtown, I think in any part of town, is you have security needs, and then you also have safety needs of, well, are my employees gonna show up and there's somebody that's back there that they're not expecting?
Well, I'm just thinking for the aesthetics of the neighborhood, I mean, because we don't really know what's gonna go in there.
Correct.
And if
Yes,
they
sir.
bring a bunch of stuff that people are unsightly, who wants to look at that?
Correct.
So,
Again, like I said, just the Palmer's has a clear chain link fence.
Yeah.
The one across the street right north of this property
Yeah.
has a clear chain link fence
Yeah.
around it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Brian, the entrance is on 3rd Street, right?
Correct, yeah, you'll have your parking lot right there, your parking in with your front door will do on Martin Luther King. Your warehouse entrance, that's up there on the top of the page that has that come in, that will be on 3rd Street.
So what are your thoughts if we recommend you put rock on the wainscot on it? I mean,
I'm more of a modern feel. I think it looks better with the colors I'm picking. I think it looks better. I'll have the dark frame windows, it'll be
Yeah.
black frame windows in the, like that. To me, I like cleaner, simpler looks like that. If you guys want wainscot, that's fine. To me, I think that's dressy. But
If we make that a condition of the approval, then will he have to bring that sample back to us, or would you do it administratively, or how would that work?
It depends on
Since we
how
don't
you-
have anything on it right now.
That's correct. And it depends on how much flexibility you would give, whether you would want a stone, a specific color, or if you want ephes or stucco look or something of that nature. And there's also that you're able to defer that down to staff to say, okay, staff, we want you to take a look at this, and you know what our rules would be and our guidance would be, and to move that forward. Or we approve this concept for now and just ask for them to bring back some samples for you to look at. But we would approve the concept so they could move forward with construction, and it's just, what does that finish out on the front look like?
Yeah, but he kind of needs to know that before he starts building some of that stuff. Just the,
yeah, and like I said, we put the windows there. Like I said,
yeah.
personally, I think it's dressed up as good as any building that's going to be on that street currently is.
The problem, I think, with the wainscot is that I agree that I think it actually looks pretty clean, and I like that look, and I think it fits well with the rest of the neighborhood when you consider Palmer Fee is across there, and sort of has that industrial look, but it's kind of a scaled down, kind of a modern version of it, which I think that looks, it's a nice looking building for a metal building. But one of the issues with the wainscoting, I think, is that what you don't want to do is terminate something like that on an outside corner. And since this is a perfect square, there's nowhere really to terminate it unless you go all the way around the building, which I think is, so you're asking, what I would hate to see is that wainscot come and turn around and then like just sort of stop halfway down, and then that always just looks cheap, and so I think in absence of being able to do that, I like the idea of just having the metal siding just kind of continue all the way around and continue with that clean look.
Yeah, I think you could put in some landscaping, like Donna said. And
Yeah, like I said, we have
that would be-
landscaping plans, and whether there's a trees or be deatherscape, there will be landscaping on both corners there.
Based on this drawing, and it looks like the fence continues on both sides of the building across the front facade area,
Correct, yes, ma'am.
but on the plan, it looks like it is only on one side, or?
No, ma'am, we have a gate. You'll see on both sides of the building, we have a gate in that first parking spot next to the smaller landscaped area.
Okay, so that line represents
That's the
what you're seeing on
fence,
the,
yes.
on the facade drawing, okay.
Any other questions? The applicant?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You can't tell from the depth perception on the outside.
Yes, Mayor.
I would strongly recommend that we not use chain link fence. If we use Palmer as a standard for what we want to look like today, I don't think that's a good standard. If we look the woulda, shoulda, coulda ideas in life, I don't think knowing what's going on with the development in downtown and potential development, we would use Palmer as a standard for what we want to look like. I don't think today we would even approve having Palmer in the location that it's in today. So I want to make sure we don't make decisions based off of totally what's there today, but what we'd like to look like going forward.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll close public comment and open it up to the board. I think that's a good recommendation, and I'm not real crazy about the chain link either. And once we set a precedence for it, then we're kind of stuck with it. You know, the other option would be a metal fence, which is not conducive to that area either. So it would either have to be some kind of a wood fence, I would think.
I personally would prefer the wood fence over the wainscoting for reasons you said. I think this scaled down version looks pretty good given the uses in the area. There is still mixed use. There's a lot of residential buildings, so I would prefer the wooden fence over the wainscoting personally. And I would prefer not to have a chain link fence as well, because in terms of consistency amongst the uses, I think that privacy fence, you can tell there's fences on two sides, right?
What is the fence that has the slats in it, or what?
They just put, it's chain link and they put vinyl slats in it. You know, and then the metal, a lot of people use, but the R-panel fences aren't allowed in that zone. I think the only other recommendation would be a wood fence, unless you did. I mean, there's some here where they run the fence, the slats horizontal, which looks really good. That's allowed in the CBD district and the historical district.
With the chain link, but the slats are run horizontal?
Yeah, they just put in the slats run. They leave a gap in between it. But then again, as far as safety, I don't know what they're going to be storing there, unless they did some kind of you could do the slats that way and then maybe put some kind of wire or something on the inside of that, see, where you couldn't see it from the outside, and it'd still be secured.
Do we know what the linear footage of the fence is?
I don't. Maybe
What's
Mr.
that?
Benson does.
The linear footage of the fence. I'm just wondering, like, I mean.
A wood fence?
No, the linear footage of the fence. That's a lot of fence. And to say like it's got to go from a chain link to a wood, we might be talking over $10,000.
Well, but we can't base our decision on financial. I tend to agree. I think it needs to be a wood fence. Even if, like I said, I know there's some chain link with the vinyl slats in it, but then it's still a chain link fence. And since this is new, a lot of the stuff that's grandfathered in, I know we can't do anything. And there are some chain link fences around that area. But it'd be my recommendation that we do a wood fence, some type of wood fence.
Are the fences that the neighbors have, the residential fences, are they wood fences back behind this? Okay.
Yeah.
Poor wood fence.
How many different wood fences are there? Is that something we'd have to look at, or, do we get into?
Well, in our downtown design district, I mean, you have that purview. Now, we did look, if y'all remember Plateau Brewing, that they were doing the back patio. They were proposing that horizontal fence like Chairman Zur was talking about, and y'all wanted to make sure that the stain color matched some of the fixtures and things like that. And now that's in our historic district. This being in our downtown design district, the criteria is not as stringent maybe, but you still want a consistent look for the area. How does that building fit into the area? If it is just the fence, there is the option of, okay, we approve the other designs minus the fence and ask to come back with a fence look that y'all could look at, whether it's horizontal, vertical, color. I know it's helpful to get everything wrapped up in one meeting as well.
Well, but I don't think the fence would hinder his permit process, because
it would not.
So here's my next question is that a fence is actually only required where it abuts on a residential property.
Yes, an opaque fence, yes, that is
If we give him a
correct.
wood fence requirement, he could then turn around and say, I'm just not going to build a fence. Is that correct?
No, if there's a requirement from this board, then that would be binding on that property.
It just has to do it where the residential.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Your question was, if we made it a wooden fence requirement that hypothetically, somebody could come back and just not build a fence at all. But in this case, it's a requirement because it's abutting some sort of fence, right? Is a requirement because of abutting on two sides or
It's
one
only
side?
abutting on the west side, I believe.
Yeah.
So the fence would, by city ordinance, the fence is only required on that west
Yeah.
facade. It's just a matter of whether or not then, I guess, this committee would then require it on all 4 sides. Is that correct, Aaron?
That's correct. And so let me just get this up. That's correct. You're looking at the fencing, and correct me if I'm wrong, team, because I just want to make sure I state it correctly. As Brooks has pointed out, that this fence right here is required to be opaque. Is the fence along the alley, I believe it is required to be opaque as well, since it's adjacent to residential, even if there's an alleyway. I believe that's correct. So what we're looking at is this fence that's facing Third, this other piece that's facing, Martin Luther King, facing Martin Luther King, and then this connection here that's facing Third Street.
So one of the fences backs up to an alley, though.
Correct, but I believe in the zoning ordinance, even if there's an alley there and it's a commercial district that backs up to a residence, it still has to be a fence, yes. An opaque fence is what I should say.
I'd hate to put a requirement on something, like give him the opportunity to go see something else. We know we don't like the chain link, okay, well, maybe he can find something that fits.
Somebody could make a motion and exclude the fence at this point, and then he'd just have to bring it back to us.
That is correct.
And we could approve everything else, and then same way with the rock. If you want the wainscot, then he'd need to bring back a sample for us or let staff do it.
I'm fine with doing a 6-foot picket fence. Which one did that zoom in? The top one. So like I said, from what we're looking at, there is already an existing 6-foot wooden fence here that backs up to that residence, okay? This one's the one on this side that's dilapidated that I'll replace.
Okay.
And I don't mind redoing that one, and so I'll add that one as a 6-foot wooden fence, this one 6-foot wooden fence, and then obviously on the side for Third and MLK. I'm good with the vertical wood fence that'll be stained right there.
Yeah, I think it would make your building look a lot better too, especially from the front.
And like I said, the only reason I did chain link, I looked in the area. I don't disagree. Obviously it's spec building, so you're going to see where you can cut costs. I saw it in the area, thought it was okay. I get it, it's fine. But 6-foot wooden fence will be fine. That way we can get it solved and go on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Somebody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve this with the addition of the wooden fence in place of the chain link.
And no
Okay.
wainscoting?
And,
And what about the rock wainscot?
I would say no wainscoting. I guess we should decide that before I move. I would move that we move this without the wainscoting and with the addition of a 6-foot fence, wooden fence in lieu of the chain link.
Anybody else? have any?
Second.
So we have a motion and
Second.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to our next case. DD 24-05, 333 West Beauregard Avenue for a downtown district design permanent placement of a food truck at the southwest corner of Beauregard Avenue and North Ave Street in the downtown district overlay zone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you indicated, this is in the CBD zoning district in the downtown neighborhood, and it is where Lone Star Cheeseburger used to be, just so you're familiar with the site. The applicant is Mad Messy. They are, I believe, a cheesesteak food truck. They want to do the same thing that Lone Star did. They basically want to use this as a permanent site, and so they are looking at they have 2 picnic tables out there now. They're looking at making that under the awning, the area if somebody wants to pick up food and sit and eat their food, that would be where they do that. We have added a condition for them to bring us a layout of where they're proposing that the parking and the waiting area being striped, and show where it's going to be so that they don't have such a conglomeration that used to happen when people were pulling up for Lone Star. This is a picture of the food truck trailer. It is a forest green with yellow signage on it, and then the yellow is outlined in black. And this is their logo, if you will, for that. This is the site of where they're going to park the trailer, and the picnic tables underneath the awning. I don't believe that this area will remain exactly like that, but the applicant is here, and I feel that if you talk with him about that, he may remove it or at least dress that area up. It is the Eskimo Hut site, so it's very visible when you're coming into the area. We went through our analysis. We looked at the blending land uses in the area. We do allow food trucks in the downtown area. We have allowed a more permanent food truck at this same site. We have food trucks with all kinds of designs on them. The food truck that he is proposing, as I indicated, is more of a dark forest green with the yellow lettering and the black outlining, and it appears to blend in when you see it on the site. And so staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions, actually: that the colors, dimensions, and materials shall be consistent with what is approved today, that he get all of his permits, and that he submit a site plan and come back with any signage that may need to be approved, since we are not including any signage other than what is on the trailer with this application. And are there any questions?
Will the site plan be able to be approved administratively?
Yes.
Yeah, so what we're approving really is just for him to get a health permit on this. Because this has already been approved by city council and all that. I mean, to have a food truck permanent down there, and then they have to move it once a year. So we're really not approving that part of it, because that's already in the ordinance.
That's correct.
That is correct.
You're approving what does that site look like? The zoning ordinance changed about 5 years ago that food trucks that sit by their commissary long-term
Yes.
have to get approved, and then this area is overlaid with the downtown design district.
Okay.
And so you get to say, what does it look like?
Okay, that's what I thought.
Can we see the picture again?
Pardon?
Can we see the trailer again, please?
You bet.
Thank you.
So bring up the next one. I've talked to the applicant about that red box thing right there. I think they're gonna repaint it. We can talk to him in a second.
Yeah.
And put his sign and stuff on it, just for y'all's information. Because that'll look real good to me. Well, any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We'll open it up for public comment.
Hello.
Please state your name.
I'm James Pettit. I'm the owner of Med Messy. I've got some pictures here. I'll start passing around. It's the actual color schemes for our brand that I did, so you can see the actual colors of the green, the yellow. And I went ahead and took some nighttime pictures too to show what it's going to look like as well.
And so you are proposing to do something with that
So
box?
The previous person that owned Lone Star Cheeseburger, he had that as a wood. It kept all the wood in there. They used to smoke, I think, before their previous trailer caught on fire. After they redid it, they just kept it there. I didn't do anything with it yet because I knew I had to come here and I wanted to kind of visit with you guys first. My plan is to, of course, paint it either the green that matches our trailer or black and clean it up. I really like it being there because I feel like it's a barrier between where the cars park and those picnic tables. And so I kind of like it being there. I want to paint it black or green and then put our banners on it, just, mad messy, real clean. And I think it will make that corner look a whole lot better.
After coming and visiting with you on that, my only recommendation on that, and we can talk about it at the board, is I'd like to see some kind of wainscot or something around the trailer where, even if it was only 2 foot tall, where you don't see the tires, so it looks more like a building instead of just a trailer that's stuck there.
Okay.
And then drug off. I think it would make the area look a little nicer.
I do know on the front part of the trailer, we were looking at putting a propane tank there, which is bigger, kind of like if you've gone to Sunset Junior, they have a propane tank out there. Makes it easier for a food truck, but we were going to put a little 3-foot fence right in front of that just so that it's not visible, as we talked about. But I can do something.
I mean, would you be opposed to if we recommended something like that? Put it in our, just like if it was just above the fender well right there. It
So
could
like
just be where you could still back the trailer into it, and it wouldn't have to be affixed to the ground. You could make it out of metal and put wood on it and paint it or something, and then just bolt it to the ground or something. It'd be heavy enough for you to just sit there.
So
I think it would make the area look
just
a little better.
I guess I don't understand a small barrier just to cover the wheels.
Just a 2-foot fence, so you don't see the tires and everything, so it doesn't look like a trailer.
Okay.
It'd be like skirting on a mobile home, something like that.
Not chain link.
Yeah,
Not chain link?
Yeah, not chain link.
I can figure out something if that's what you guys would like. It's still a trailer. I mean.
Well, I know, but it's right there in the
What is
downtown.
looking at the picture to the left of those tires, that part of your trailer, is that like a pop-up?
So that's a stainless steel table.
That's
I
what I
just have
thought.
it down right now,
Okay.
but it comes up
Okay.
and we put napkins and
Right.
utensil holders, things like that on there.
I was just making sure that a fence wouldn't obstruct anything of the usage of the trailer that you were trying to use in that area, so.
No, so that actually pops up on the side and it's just a stainless steel shelf for placing things. And then right underneath that is the actual water heater for that trailer.
I'm just worried about a fence because I think it would just obstruct, if you're only blocking those 2 tires, it just doesn't seem practical to me with the
Well, no,
table
I mean,
right there and the door. If he put, maybe you can buy tire covers,
That was going to be my next suggestion.
plain black tire covers, and then that would just mask, or you could even get them in green or something, close to match the trailer
What I
color.
wanted to do was, once we got final approval, we wanted to make sure that was where it was, and then we were going to put the covers over those tires for
Yeah.
weather, and so you didn't see those anymore. Especially with our number right under the window, I mean.
Right. That's my thought too. You don't want to cover up your phone number.
I can hide the tires, if y'all need me to hide the tires.
And Chairman, and it depends on how general you want that motion to be, if that's something y'all want to add, and just simply say colors to match, whether that's to match the trailer, match his color scheme that he passed around. I think we could do something like that, and then staff would be able to check that as he moves forward.
Okay.
And even same with the box, that's kind of where the site plan comment kind of came from, because he still has to stripe 2 parking spots for that area, and it's going to give some more definition to where circulation is of people, and then we can check the site plan. Where's he going to have the bigger box that has his banners and those things on it?
And real quick, as far as the striping of the parking lots, I think Eskimo Hut, because a lot of the parking for that food trailer goes right along the front part of Eskimo Hut, since that's really mainly a drive-through. They don't have very much walk-in traffic, but they did just restripe that whole parking lot just last week. So it's got all new lines on it.
Yeah. Again, that's not something for this board to worry about, is not parking. That's in the zoning ordinance itself, and so that's dealt by the zoning ordinance.
And you said you are willing to paint, or y'all have talked about painting or doing something with the red blocks right there that used to hold?
Yes, I'm not going to leave it like that.
And
I
you
just
said
wanted-
green or black, isn't that what you said?
It's either going to be a black or a green that matches, because the black awning, I want it to either match that or the trailer.
Yep.
And then we'll put our banners on the front of it, so it'll look nice.
Yep.
I would ask about the feed trough over here with the plantings in it. Is that going to stay?
No, so I'm going to redo the white rock in it. I'm going to take out all those old things, and I had planned on putting yellow and black pansies in it to match the color scheme.
All in favor of landscaping it? Thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All the green we can add to all that concrete helps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back for a sign? Is there a sign on that?
There's not really, I mean, the only signage is just a banner with my logo.
Yeah, so all of those still have to be approved by the city.
Picture.
They may not require a sign permit, but they still have to be approved by either this board or administratively. And so like the one that's hanging there off of the canopy is actually an illegal banner right now. And so we would have to have that come back. That's why that condition is on there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And I can do those administratively, correct? The banners?
Yes, they should be, as long as they're under 50 square feet, which most of them probably will be.
Okay.
But yes, we could do those administratively.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and they've been great to work with, so I can get all that sent through them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak on this project? Yes, Mayor?
I support the location and the opening up of the food truck. I do question the banner conversation. If this is a permanent location of a food truck, do we use banners for signage or a sign?
It's a good question.
That's exactly what I was thinking and asking.
Yeah,
You know,
what
it
is
gets junked up with banners and stuff on there.
So, in rebuttal to that, and I agree on the signage on the front, I mean, the banners, they've been hung before. On the box that is there that we're gonna redo, they were actually metal signs that we unscrewed from that, which is where you see all that blackened out right there. I'll plan on going back with the metal signs correctly right there, just so I can clarify that. Those will be metal, actual signs that we put back in.
Okay, so where are the banners going? Oh, I'm a little confused.
There's only one banner that would be hung that I have to get approved, and it's right there in between the columns on the left.
And the picture
On the old
left,
gasoline
far left.
canopy.
How do you,
You can only
Top-
see the back of it.
okay,
Over here?
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that banner. Told you I didn't bring my glasses.
Totally missed that.
And usually the purpose.
The mayor said something.
Yeah, usually the purpose of a banner is to advertise a special event or short-term things.
Yeah, that's what I was
They're
thinking.
usually
Isn't that
not
a
a long-term
short-term
thing.
deal?
Where a signage is to, hey, this is our location, this is our event. And so,
So what is short-term on a banner?
Well, that banner says coming soon. Is there meant to be a banner there permanently?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm still confused.
There's really not a place for us, like, there's not a pole with a sign. Okay.
It says coming
soon. I
don't think he means to have a banner there.
Yeah.
Not gonna put a banner there?
Well, I think he just is.
There is a banner there and it says coming soon, but as soon as he opens and has
And
permanent sign,
That'll come down.
I believe it will come
Correct.
down.
Okay, so the
Yes.
only signs you're gonna have are on that box?
Right.
Okay,
Got it.
And anything else I want to do, I'll run through them and get approval.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for
Okay.
clarification.
Thanks for clarifying.
Okay. Questions?
I mean, I would just say that in terms of food truck culture, I've come from cities where food trucks are sort of a big part of the downtown life. So I don't personally have a problem with just covering the tires with sort of black covers, doing something like that instead. The only thing, and he's already covered this, is it's crucial to paint that red monstrosity.
Yeah.
And he has plans for that.
Okay, do we want to specify a color on that box? You want it green, you want it black, you want to match the trailer?
Green or black is fine with me, I think. So,
I personally think the green would look better. I think black just gets dirty real quick. But that's, any other comment? Anybody have any opinion?
I think match the green to your logo would be great.
Somebody want to make a motion with the
I'll say, I think it would be nice to have a sign, a permanent sign up there. If Eskimo Hut would let you put a drop-down metal, I mean, you'd have to get it approved, but it would look more official and like you belong there, you're gonna be there for a while, rather than a banner anywhere. But,
Okay, that's not something, that'd be the sign ordinance, correct?
Well, that'd be the sign ordinance. If you turn something in, again, that's less than 50 square feet, the director can approve that for the DHRC board as far as the look, and I'm sure he's going to keep it with the same colors and logos, so we'll be able to move that through fairly quickly. And of course, he may work with a sign company for that aspect as well.
Okay.
Well, I move then that we approve, as long as, obvious, whatever sign recommendations are followed, and as long as the colors, right, on that red seating storage
So you want the
area.
box to be green?
On the recommendation that it's green to match the
To match
logo.
the trailer, okay.
So wait, are we requiring a permanent sign now? Is that?
no.
No,
No.
no,
Okay,
no,
okay, okay.
no.
No, okay.
No.
Okay.
If he
Total
wants
comment,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you get a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we will now move on. We tabled the next case, so we move on to public comment. Anybody like to come up and?
Before he starts, sir, could you go ahead and just read that full statement? Because we do have a number of folks that will be here, and I want to just make sure that we have, I'll time them for 3 minutes, but it's your purview to say, okay, continue after the 3 minutes or not. I just want to make sure that you read the whole public comment section, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, issues or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the what? Dice? Okay, and begin by stating their name, address, or single-member district. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes. Okay?
Good morning. Sorry. Good morning. My name is Taylor Kingman. I live at 1518 Grisham, single member District 5. I'm president of the SASD Board of Trustees. Thank you for, one, affording me the opportunity to talk to you today, and also I appreciate your willingness to table item A today, giving us more time to discuss that with the city. I'm here to express the Board of Trustees' concerns over the extension of the historical overlay to 218 and 301 North Oaks. Specifically, we are concerned with the 218 North Oaks, the Central and Oaks campus. As a board, we have always valued student safety and success, as well as responsible use of taxpayer dollars. We are currently in the processes of consolidating campuses to improve support to our students, create opportunities for more success, and to continue to be fiscally responsible. Our concern is that any designation may hinder our ability to achieve those goals. It may limit future options for the school district and increase taxpayer burden. Furthermore, as an elected board governed by the Open Meetings Act, we feel that the proper mechanism is in place to make sure community input is received prior to any action. No decision on this property can be made without it being posted on a formal agenda and presented at an open meeting. Also, no vote can be made without allowing public comment. As this mechanism already exists to make sure community ideas and our concerns are heard, we strongly urge the committee to not extend the historic overlay to include 218 North Oaks. We find it to be an unnecessary regulation on a property already managed by a publicly elected board. But we do appreciate the fact that it's currently tabled, and we allow for the public for us to research it and to meet with the city. And we request that any public meetings, just like the city extension was done, where we had multiple public meetings in the past, that we do that same process if we're going to move forward with something like this in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, Chairman Majeur and the council, the Historic Review Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today On behalf of San Angelo Independent School District, my name is Christopher Moran, Superintendent of the school district. It's an honor to be here, and we're located at 1621 University Avenue here in San Angelo. I'm joined today by members of our SAISD leadership team, and I'm here to comment on agenda item 3A, which is Z2401. And as you know, 218 North Oaks is owned by SAISD and used as a ninth grade center for Central High School. The district is currently moving students from that campus to Central's main campus for a variety of reasons. The long-range future use of Central on Oaks by the school district has not been finally determined, and I'm asking this commission to exclude 218 North Oaks from the expansion of the historic district for the reasons that its inclusion will, 1, impose undue restriction and burdens on San Angelo ISD specific to renovations and modifications to the facility in the future. 2, restrict the Board of Trustees from making decisions best for the students and staff of San Angelo ISD due to the bureaucracy and cost associated with building modifications. 3, it will limit the district's ability to provide necessary safety and security measures in a timely manner if needed. And 4, it will require undue financial burden on the district. Some of that we've witnessed already today and how we work through fencing and other things. Currently, SAISD operates our maintenance team out of a building that's already designated as a historic building at 100 Paint Rock Road. Many of you are familiar with that. I think it was an old, maybe DPS or a building years ago over off Christoval area. And as a result of the 2020 storm that damaged that building, the district had to replace 22 of the windows at a cost of $2,000 per window as required by the Historic Commission. The total cost to replace those windows was more than $46,000 to replace the 22 windows, which is twice the cost, which would have been if we had been operating independent of the Historic Commission. So this is just one example of the ramifications that will occur if this designation for 218 North Oaks were to pass. So I implore you today to exclude 218 North Oaks from the expansion of the historic district for these reasons and many more. I've submitted 7 ballots to your council that reflect our team's opposition to this measure, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Brenda Gunter, Mayor. I am going to read some comments that were sent to me by Karen Hesse Smith. As you know, Karen Hesse's mother was very involved in historic preservation and the historic buildings that we still currently have today. If we are to make decisions today about the cost of something, we wouldn't have a historic district today. It's easier to tear something down. That's an easy decision to make. The tough decision to make is to make the best choice possible about preserving history, because when it's wiped clean, it's gone for forever. When asked to describe what a building is, would you respond by saying that it is a structure made of bricks and mortar? Indeed, a building is nothing more than a series of walks covered with a roof that protects whatever is inside from external elements. Today, we would not have Fort Concho if the easy thing to do was to wipe it clean. Today, we would not have the wonderful impact that fort makes on this city. It brings tourism, it brings people, and more importantly, it preserves its history. And the reason San Angelo exists today is because that fort exists today. It was built, and when it was built, it gave us a foundation for the city of San Angelo to be built and to be what it is today. Back in the 70s, my husband made a decision with several other people to buy 12 of the buildings in historic downtown and start the preservation efforts. Had he not done that, today we wouldn't have Concho Avenue and we wouldn't have the redevelopment of our historic district. We would not have an entertainment district that exists today. Short-sighted decisions are what cost many cities their history. You take a look at many of the cities around San Angelo today, and they regret tearing down all of their buildings. You can't make a historic building a brand new building. It is a tough decision, but it is the right decision if you care about the city and you care about our history. The answer is rather simplistic. Throughout history, buildings across the world have secured a place in hearts of many, often for reasons far beyond the simple explanation. In truth, historic buildings have been symbols of great sentimental value for generations, and that will likely remain true for many generations to come. Many of you are aware of the preservation efforts that we have along the museum today. Those buildings, many of those, were other locations in the city of San Angelo. They were brought into the downtown district and remodeled, and there's stories to be told with each of those buildings. On October 28, 1943, the then British Prime Minister Winston Churchill said, "We shape our buildings, and afterward, our buildings shape us." He was speaking about the House of Commons, which had been bombed during the Blitz. But the essential message is that historic buildings are of great intrinsic value to communications worldwide, and protecting and conserving those symbols of our history.
Mayor?
Yes, priceless.
We've exceeded our time limit.
I hope that sets a standard for thought process.
Thank you.
Hello, Monica Ramos, Director of Downtown San Angelo. We really care about our historic properties here in downtown, especially this property that's a 115-year-old building. It has a lot of history. It shows triumph of the citizens of San Angelo and San Angelo. I'm going to read a section of the Angelo State University website. After an unsuccessful 1923 bid to be selected as the home of the Texas Technological College, the residents of San Angelo decided they would create their own college, even if they had to pay for it themselves. Funded by local contributions and a self-imposed county tax, San Angelo Junior College opened its doors in 1928 on North Oak Street near downtown San Angelo. It survived the downturn of the Depression and World War II. So, what this means is the San Angelo Junior College was the beginning of what would soon become Angelo State University. It tells our rich history of ASU and San Angelo, so it's an important piece of our heritage. Downtown San Angelo is part of the Texas Main Street program, which is under the umbrella of the Texas Historical Commission. And their main mission for the Texas Historical Commission is to preserve and protect state historic and prehistoric resources for their use of education, the benefit economically, as well as the enjoyment of our present and future generations. With the historic overlay, this really isn't going to affect anything too much other than the enhancements of the exterior of the property. We just want to make sure that the unique characteristics and the aesthetics of this property are preserved. When we have historic buildings in our community and in this historic neighborhood, it's a connection to our past, and as well as a way for us to be able to connect with each other and with this history that we have, and we can tell this story to future generations. And if you take a look at any historic buildings in downtown, you'll see that their architecture, the style is just so much different than modern day. It's something that should be appreciated and respected. And so what we most importantly want to remember is that we want to protect and preserve the heritage of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, we will move on to the division report.
Looks like our division report, I don't have a main item to talk about, but our principal planner, Sherry Bailey, does. We're doing a zoning to expand the central business district, but then that means, do we expand something else? I'll let her kind of take it over from there. Sherry?
Just briefly, we're looking both with the Planning Commission and DHRC to expand our central business district and then look at the downtown district overlay. And should that also be expanded, and should it be expanded to match, or where are those areas from a historic building standpoint that should be included so that we don't lose them down the road? We're starting that process now. We're starting with the rezoning for the CBD in the first area, and then we'll be coming to you with a discussion of those areas and buildings that we have identified that may benefit from that overlay district. The process we anticipate will be a little more lengthy with the downtown district than just the CBD zoning, and may be contentious at some times. We ask that you persevere and get feedback from everybody who has a point of view in this. And I will do up an agenda and a timeline and send that out to you to get some feedback, if you don't mind.
That it?
Go for it.
There we go. Turn green. Yes, I believe that's it. I do have one other note, and I just happened to see him sitting in the back. But Austin Reed, who's one of our team members, he has been promoted to a full planner, and so we're very excited about that. So you'll be seeing him present even more in here, presenting cases. So we're very excited and proud of him. He's done a great job for us. So we're very excited, Austin. So thank you. And the last thing I'll mention is welcome to Brooks. We're excited that he's
Yes.
on here. I think he's going to be able to provide some additional guidance to staff of how you guys see things. I really appreciate y'all's discussion during the cases, because that makes a huge difference. Instead of us trying to tell you everything, y'all kind of start discussing and we start learning from each other. Well, this is what they're going to look for when we make a presentation. So we appreciate that very much, and thank you all for what you do. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, staff.
Is there a reason we skipped over the public comments on the items not on the regular agenda?
We did it.
I'm sorry.
didn't.
We opened it.
We did open the public
We
comment.
had it for public comment.
That were,
I thought that the last public comment was on item F, and then we went straight from there to
No.
division report.
No.
The school district and Ms. Gunter and
Yeah, they gave
Monica,
public
both,
comment.
they all came up
Yeah.
during public
Correct.
comment.
that was our public comment, sir.
I'm sorry?
That was our public comment section.
That was for the non-agenda items.
That is correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Is there any way for me to go ahead and make a public comment? That would be
Not-
discretionary for the DHRC board. I know what the planning position is going to be on that in the legal, but it's
Do
critical.
we have to make a motion for this, or how does this work? I've never,
It is up to the board chair if they wanted to open public comment again, if you think that's beneficial for the group, and I'll let.
But it is terrible precedent to open and close public comment repeatedly, because the next time it happens, you're going to be imposed upon to do it again, so.
But that would have to be voted on again too, so that should take the fairness aspect out of it.
so,
But I would advise against it because of the precedent it sets.
okay, then we'll keep public comment closed. The announcements, the next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled to begin on Thursday, April 18th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the East Mezzanine meeting from Room City Hall at 72 West College Avenue. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Meeting's adjourned.